Have you ever wondered why housing prices are skyrocketing in Canada? It's a question that's been on the minds of many of us. You see, it's a mix of several factors. First, there's inflation. As the cost of goods and services rise, so too does the cost of homes. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. Then, there's the ever-increasing demand for homes. As more people look to settle down and establish roots, the demand for housing swells. But here's the catch. The supply isn't keeping up. There simply aren't enough homes to meet the demand. And what happens when demand outstrips supply? You guessed it, prices go up. And these prices aren't just going up, they're skyrocketing. What's more, they're outpacing income growth. This means housing is becoming less and less affordable for the average person. So the question remains, why are these prices going up so dramatically? Let's dive deeper into this in our next scene. To understand the skyrocketing prices, we need to look at the factors driving them. Essentially, it's a story of supply and demand, with a few extra twists thrown into the mix. Let's start with low interest rates. They've always been a double-edged sword. On one hand, they make it easier for people to borrow money, which means more potential buyers in the market. But on the flip side, they also encourage people to borrow more than they might have otherwise, which can drive up prices. And when those rates eventually rise, it can leave borrowers in a tight spot. Next, let's talk about population growth. Over the past several years, Canada's population has been growing at a steady clip. More people mean more potential home buyers, and more buyers, especially when coupled with low interest rates, mean more demand for homes. Demand goes up, and if supply can't keep pace, prices follow suit. And that brings us to our third factor, a lack of sufficient housing supply. Building a home isn't as easy as snapping your fingers. It takes time, resources, and a whole lot of paperwork. And in many parts of Canada, it just hasn't been happening fast enough to keep up with the demand. Combine that with the fact that prime land is becoming increasingly scarce, and you have a recipe for a housing shortage. So what do we have when we put it all together? Low interest rates leading to increased borrowing and buying, population growth driving up demand, and a lack of sufficient supply to meet that demand. It's a high demand, low supply scenario that's perfect for pushing prices through the roof. But that's not all. There's another major player in this game, the mortgage system. This is where things get even trickier and where the stakes get even higher. But more on that in the next scene. You might think that mortgages make homes more affordable, but in reality, they're part of the problem. Now let's dive into how this happens. See, mortgages are intended to make homeownership accessible, but in a strange twist, they're contributing to the skyrocketing prices. Here's how. Low interest rates. They sound great, right? Lower interest means less to pay back, but there's a catch. These low rates often lead to larger mortgages. Why? Well, when interest rates are low, people can afford to borrow more, and when people can borrow more, they can bid more for homes. This in turn inflates housing prices, and it's a risky business. Larger mortgages mean more debt. If a homeowner's financial situation changes, repaying that mortgage can become a real struggle. So when we look at the big picture, we see that hefty mortgages are not making homes more affordable. So hefty mortgages, in fact, are making homes less affordable. So what does all this mean for potential home buyers in Canada? The skyrocketing prices and hefty mortgages are making it increasingly difficult for many to step onto the property ladder. Especially for first-time buyers, the dream of owning a home is becoming more elusive. It's a similar story for low-income households. The housing affordability crisis is pushing them to the margins, causing undue stress and threatening their financial stability. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are ways to navigate this challenging landscape. One potential solution could be increasing the housing supply. More homes mean more choices and potentially lower prices. Another could be regulating the mortgage market more effectively. This could ensure that mortgages remain within reach for those who need them most. It's clear, however, that these are only part of the solution. The issue is complex and multifaceted, and addressing it will require serious thought and action. It's a task we must undertake for the sake of future homebuyers in Canada. In conclusion, the issue of housing affordability in Canada is complex and multifaceted. It's essential to stay informed and engaged, understanding the dynamics of skyrocketing prices and hefty mortgages. If you found this information helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more such informative content. Thank you for watching.